Hey guys, we're here with another video. We're watching the low post and we're gonna react to him. So let's get into it. And if you don't know who the low post is, go subscribe to him. He's a basketball influencer. He talks about basketball. I should say sports in general. I do believe he talk about other sports topics from here and then. But that's as far as my knowledge about him. So just go check him out, y'all, and let's get into the video.
Okay, we have to talk about Eurobasket and the individual that is not only dominating this tournament, but doing so in a way that I think more people should really start to recognize. Now, if you're like...
And to be honest, I don't know too much about what Giannis is doing in the EuroLeague. I know I've seen a couple of pictures. I know Luka was doing pretty good in the EuroLeague. So, I don't know too much about that. Y'all let me know. But, we gonna let Low talk.
Like me, the NBA season is right around the corner. However, you are still fiending for some basketball content, dog. So I started looking around the internet, and eventually I stumbled across Eurobasket. I knew what was going on. I don't know why I forgot to start watching it, but I took some interest, started looking at some games, and I'm not gonna lie to you, that's a mistake on my end because I missed a lot of really great basketball. I did not know that there's this many NBA players, in particular, some really good NBA players, participating in this tournament. Jokic, Larry Markkinen, Alfred Şengün. Actually, a huge shout out to Şengün, because in some of the games I've watched, or at least some of the highlights as well, it seems as if he's in the middle of a stretch to show some real promise in his upcoming season offensively as a passer and playmaker, which is something I definitely believe that Houston is going to need next to Kevin Durant. So shout out to Şengün. Also, huge shout out to the young fella out in Finland playing next to Markkinen. His name is Murnin, teenager. He actually plays in the States. He's projected to be in the NBA in the next 2 years. Still has to go, I believe, his senior year in high school, then college. But, bro, he looks really, really good. I'm pretty sure you've seen a couple of highlights on your timeline about the things in which he is doing. Bro, he looks amazing. I probably will dig a little deeper into what he should be projected into.
And, man, these Euro players, I don't know if they say he play in the States, but, man, these players be going nuts, man. I'd be liking to see it, though. Euro players are most definitely on the rise, though.
If you really want me to. However, in this video, there is an individual player that is dominating this tournament in ways in which people need to start taking notice in. A player that I think a lot of people have questioned his ability over the past couple of years. However, in this tournament alone, he should have really quite a lot of skepticism. And that player is not Luka Doncic. As a Laker fan, I wanted nothing more but to come up here and gas Luka to the heavens. I was going to sit here and say, it's revenge season, MVP on the way, he lost weight, he looked quicker, he playing defense. I'm about to take all that stuff, but I'm not going to lie to you all. That's not what's happening. Luka's putting up dominant numbers. He still looks amazing. He looks like one of the best basketball players on the face of this planet, but that's always who he has been for the last 3 to 4 years. The numbers are also ridiculous. He put up 42 points against Italy, 39 points against Germany. Be very mindful that these are games where he's only playing like 32, 33 minutes, so he's out there scoring with the best of them. However, I am not going to use crazy stat lines and inflated scoring numbers, because there's really nobody else on his team, as some form of indicator that he's somehow different all of a sudden. No, Luka does that all the time in these type of tournaments.
Yeah, that is a thing, though. You gotta just make sure let it be known. It is a difference. Differentiate that this is a different league. But a lot of this stuff do transfer. This is why we scout EuroLeague players. This is why we scout college NBA players and whatnot, just to see if it could transfer.
Personally was looking for some level of explosiveness or attention to detail defensively that will really indicate a true change in who Luka has been. And I'm sorry to report to you, I did not see that enough for me to make a crazy video about it. Matter of fact,
then again, it's so much more to it than seeing it, right? And Low's credit, right? You can't just say something and it be true, right? And then you gotta prove it too at that, right? Luka Doncic been in the league for a couple of seasons now, so we have something to go off of. It's not like we judging him on his rookie second year, right? He's been in the league for a while. He got traded to the Lakers, so we're evaluating him in a real way, not in no artificial way or trying to protect him or whatnot. Low didn't really see too much, but Also, it is the year. I don't know. I think it's a tournament, a Euro tournament. Let me stop saying league. So, but it's something different. So, um, the NBA play these players millions of dollars. And a lot of these players, don't risk it. And I get that part, right? And they willing to risk it for certain things, but the Jokic's and the Giannis's and the Lucas probably aren't trying to win this tournament that bad. Like when it was the FIBA or in the Olympics, right? I believe these players have a much more different incentive, like national pride, to go out and compete and give it their best. But to my knowledge, I don't know how important this tournament is outside of the United States. But in my opinion, I don't believe that it's that important. At least for players to go out there and to give it 100%. So, on the contrary, for Lowe to say that he haven't seen it a lot or enough, I understand that. But it is a Euro tournament. I don't even think it's the league. So
sure that my eyes were deceiving me because I then went back to go watch a couple of games of his throughout another Eurobasket tournament about 3 years ago, and he looked significantly more explosive than he does right now. So that I'm not going to sit here and just gas up a video, but everyone has been asking for, but no one deems it necessary to give him credit for providing it. And that player actually can go on to win league MVP next season, depending on what the narratives may be surrounding who he is as a player, his game, and of course, how many wins his team is able to accomplish throughout an 82-game season. And that player is Giannis. Giannis is averaging nearly 30 points, 9 rebounds, almost 4 assists with the steal, while converting 70% of his shots from the field and also getting to the charity stripe 9 times. Be very mindful that Giannis is only averaging 30 minutes a night. That scoring mark is the second best in the tournament while still being one of the better
Hold on, let me rewind that real quick. I just wanted to look at that. It says Giannis Antetokounmpo Euro basketball stats: 30 points per game and 70% from the field, which is great actually. 9 rebounds per game. 3.5 assists, still in the half. His true shooting 71%, a little higher than his field goal. That's great. Free throw, still can use some work. I mean, honestly, you can see that this is all about volume right now. I want to see how many shots he is attempting per game right now. I would rather see that higher for somebody who's practicing right now, who's trying to build their game. But it's a lot more to Giannis's game, and so he got to implement it in a way that is more natural and seamless, that can build off the skill sets that he already has. So I don't believe this is some. Don't look at the stats and be discouraged. I believe this is something that I trust Low is something much more probably the eyes will have to see.
However, you know this, I know this, everyone knows that Giannis is going to dominate, especially on a team where there's no other qualified NBA players to take away any of the usage away from Giannis. And of course, he's doing so in a very physically imposing way. I can show you endless highlights of Giannis running up and down the floor, dunking on players, out hustling them, and all around, again, just being more physically imposing than practically anyone on the floor. But again, these are things that you know already. But what I don't think enough people realize is the one aspect in Giannis's game that he is seeing significant improvement in, and that is his mid-range shooting. Now, I saw this tweet on my timeline that made claims that Giannis was shooting 11 for 18 on his mid-range jump shots in this tournament. I did not believe this, especially because I don't think said tracking actually exists in these type of environments, so I decided to watch some games myself. At first, I watched the game against Italy, then some highlights on Spain, looking for these jump shots and couldn't find them. But then, the last 2 games that Greece has played, where Giannis participated in, I was blown away. It's not just jump shots, it's also post work as well. And it's not just him muscling his way in. We're talking about drop steps. We're talking about fadeaways. We're talking about walking into pull-up mid-range jump shots fluently. And quite frankly, I'm amazed that not enough.
And yeah, that's the type of content, not content, but the type of bag work that I want to see from Giannis. I'm gonna most definitely check out these games and give y'all my opinion and upload that at a later date. But I most definitely got to do my research about this and about how Giannis right now is performing. But like from the clip that Lo just put on the screen, that is something that is very good looking. But then again, I will say this is a tournament at that though, so it's not like this is the gym. But like I was gonna point to like Ben Simmons and his workouts, and notorious NBA players and their off-season workouts and practices. So, but I am glad that it is something. It's something. Right, and it was the same thing with Ben Simmons. It's something, right? And the fact that it is in a tournament at that, right? So this tournament has a little bit more acclaim than a lot of these players who go and post their practice videos in the gym alone, what they do. So I am happy for Giannis and the Bucks fans that Giannis is most definitely taking his game serious. So. Yeah, we're going to have to see that.
People are talking about this. And trust me when I say it's more than just the occasional left wide open mid-range jump shot, which to be fair, there are a lot of those. However, those are the shots that Giannis tends to receive because of how much of a threat he is at the basket. And the reason why I really want to bring this to your attention is because this really should not be that much of a surprise to many people. I believe over the past couple of years, so many people have been enamored about Jokic, the rising stardom of Shea, of course, Joel Embiid inserting himself into MVP conversations, so much so that people have completely overlooked who Giannis has been throughout this entire time. I think, of course, as always, the degree of greatness that he is consistently just churning out year after year, people start to become numb to it. How many years can he produce a 30, 10, and 5 season before that just start to become the new expectations for him, and then you slowly start to become numb to how impressive it is for anyone in NBA history to produce at that level, at this level of consistency. And because how numb people have become of Giannis and the degree in which he produces at, I think too often we dismiss who he is.
And not only just Giannis, but NBA players in general. We are quick to dismiss the accomplishments and accolades that they accomplish throughout the regular season in their career because it is a consistent accomplishment. Right? I do understand fatigue, right? People getting tired of seeing the same stuff. But also that does not take away from what they're doing, right? Famously with Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, when Joel Embiid got that MVP, and it's just a recency bias. That's what the word is. So it's like most definitely with Giannis, I see that people are already getting used to what Giannis is doing, right? People say, "Oh, this is normal," when it's not, right? So Lo is right. We most definitely do got to start putting a lot more respect on these players' names.
Is a player, the level in which he's peaking at, in contrast to other players that we're witnessing as well. And I don't think that Giannis is the only player that falls victim to this. LeBron, Curry, KD all fell victim to this as well in the latter half of their prime, so it's common. But what also tends to happen through dismissing Giannis is that people are not watching how much he is transforming his game. I really start to recognize this when people were claiming that he had not made any improvement in his game whatsoever, that they just assumed that he was just still a run and dunk man and had not acknowledged that as a passer and playmaker, over the past 2 to 3 years, Giannis has seen noticeable strides in those departments. Someone who can really dictate what a team does, not only in transition, but also half-court offense as well. Understands how to properly put pressure on defense by constantly attacking the basket, while also still finding open shooters pretty consistently. I do believe that aspect of his game alone really does open up the idea that this upcoming season might be very special for him. But the other aspect of his game that he has slowly improved in has been his jump shot. First and foremost, thank you, Giannis, for taking out the three-point shots. I don't know why that was any part of your diet. I am so happy that we are far removed from Giannis taking threes. He's definitely lowered the volume to the point where they just don't really exist, and instead focused on mid-range jump shots, in particular at the elbow or post play, that is, again, really open things up. Now, I think a lot of people, because how wonky his form looks, it looks very, very shaky, to be fair, weren't really paying attention to it or were very dismissive of it. However, last year he converted his mid-range shots at a 44% clip. Pair that with more than respectable volume, and Giannis easily was one of the better mid-range shooters last season. Now, I'm not going to throw him in.
Yeah, those are some decent numbers. I most definitely like those numbers right there. Those are some good numbers, especially looking at the type of player that Giannis is. I did not know that Giannis really had this type of work to his game.
Giannis easily was one of the better mid-range shooters last season. Now, I'm not going to throw him in conversations of being elite, because I do think that there needs to be an understanding of not just volume, but also how exactly these shots come to a player. Giannis is being effectively left wide open, and other players like Devin Booker are getting contested. So the numbers really shouldn't be taken one-to-one to one another. But the overall picture for Giannis is for him to at least be able to feel comfortable enough to not only take those shots, but make them at such a respectable rate that defenses don't feel comfortable with even giving him that as well. And that's where I see a lot of things translate for Giannis, not just last year, but in this tournament as well, and potentially for years to come. And it's not just the pull-up midi jump shot where the teams are sagging off trying to build a wall and they're really protecting the rim, and so they just kind of live with the result of Giannis taking a mid-range jump shot that, in all honesty, isn't the most efficient. It's also the post-play as well. Giannis's footwork is significantly better. He feels much more comfortable spinning out of double teams, and in particular, when it comes to teams eventually deeming it necessary to double him in the post, he's much more patient to make proper reads. Again, these are things that have transpired over the past 2 years, but up until really the last 12 months is when Giannis has started to properly put it together. I want to be very clear. The last 2 games in this tournament is not the reason why I am making this video. I think the last 2 games in this tournament has been a further indicator that last year might not have been an anomaly. That last year, for many people who were paying attention, thought to themselves, it's fluky shooting, it's not real, it's not going to be sustainable. And even though, yes, in this tournament, the talent level and competition is not that of the league. That's understandable. The NBA is 2 different degrees of...
Yeah, that's reiterating what I said earlier. It is different talent, so you do gotta take that into account when assessing these videos, when assessing NBA players going over for all season, right? But also, like I said, on the contrary, he's doing this in real time, in a tournament, So it is levels to it, but let's put some respect on his name.
Competition we're talking about here and talent level is certainly not on par. And also, to be fair, Giannis is on the side of a bracket where it is going to be slightly easier because he doesn't have to go against Serbia or Germany or now Finland. So yeah, those are all things to take into consideration. But the jump shots that he is taking and making are jump shots that he would normally get in the NBA as well, because even in the NBA, teams give him those shots. The only thing that we've ever been asking out of him is for him to make those shots at a respectable enough level for teams that deem it necessary to defend him a little bit further away from the basket, that will then open up the game for not only him, but everyone else. And I do believe that is an aspect of his game that has grown immensely, and more people to start to realize it. Giannis is not doing the same thing over and over again. Yes.
Well, yeah, I didn't know all of that, but it is good to see Giannis working on his bag. So I can't wait to see what he will be like next year, especially with the addition of Miles Turner on his team. This will create a lot of space down low, because he will essentially be taking a forward or a center. I know a lot of times, like when the Pacers were playing the Knicks, they will put Josh Hart, who is a forward, or a small forward, shooting guard. He mismatches, right? And there's certain game plans and styles which will allow for that, right? But with Miles being a shooter, and we famously know about that wall, the Giannis wall, I think that things will be different, right? There's going to be a little bit more spacing down low, There's going to be more room for Giannis to operate, and for us to see him really trying to get to his bag. That's what I'm happy to see about. Because Giannis was a dominant player. He never really used his skill set to beat players. So now he's on a team which pretty much do need him to build upon his skill set, and that complements his skill set already in what they want him to build his skill set into. So there's going to be a lot of discourse about this NBA season, especially with all the trades. And if it's anything, a team to pay attention to will be the Miami Bucks. Everybody already knows this, but I think it's in a different way, right? People expect Giannis to be Giannis, but I think this is going to be something more than Giannis. Maybe even a Greek freak. But with that being said, please like and subscribe.